Alright guys, we're back and long overdue for a nice little T-side Anubis action here for you. And today we're going to be talking about the entire T-side of Anubis and how to play it. So if some of you guys have been watching this series already and have been enjoying it, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like on the video. If you're new and you haven't seen one of these, hopefully by the end of this video, that's, when you'll subscribe to the channel and leave a like on the video. Either way, I greatly appreciate it. And don't forget, we have an entire series already made of this. So if you guys are worried about, CT side of Anubis, or you want to see Mirage, or my personal favorite, Inferno, we got whatever video, whatever map you'd like already made, and it'll be in the playlist below on YouTube. Before we can get into my favorite video that I've ever made, we're going to talk today about today's video sponsor, cs.money. So for those of you that have watched my stream for a while, know that cs.money's worked with me for a very long time, and I've always used their site. They have fast trades. I'm usually in and out of the site in probably like 5 minutes. I don't even think there's been a time where I've looked up a skin and they don't have it. Sometimes you have to do a couple filters to find the right skin, but it just takes a few minutes and you can find anything you ever want on there. Last but not least, they do any payment method you could want. They got card, PayPal, crypto, you're good to go. Now, something some of you might not be as familiar with, they do now have also a marketplace where you can do peer-to-peer, has lower prices, and there's discounts on there. They also, if you just don't want the hassle of anything, you can instant sell and cash out on the spot right away, and you just have to click the icon in the top right. I would greatly appreciate if you guys do a trade on that website, that you use my link that'll be in the description below. I also want to just add a little side note, guys. This isn't a part of the sponsor thing. So many people get scammed. Be very careful. Ideally, if you have a sponsored link similar to like mine right now from somebody you trust, make sure you're always clicking on the safe sites and not accidentally getting fished and going to a different one and losing all your inventory. That's the last thing anybody wants. Now let's get you back into the video. Let's talk T-side Anubis. Legitimately just like the easiest T-side in the game. We just get everything for free. You can get all the way right outside of B main, which is the B bomb site right away. The mid area is easy to take back with a little bit of util. A main is really scary for the CTs to stay inside of. And if you want to try to take E-box control, you're good to go with just a little bit of like nades. The tricky part with Anubis is just bring it all together at the end, but taking map control, this has got to be one of the easiest T-side maps you can have. So like I like to always do in my T-side videos, let's talk general philosophy. So ideally in a perfect world, you got a guy watching B main, you have a guy in middle, and you have 3 people working towards the A side of the map. Maybe one working towards E-box, one working A main, and one guy kind of in the middle, usually the opera, kind of supporting both and helping both get set up. B main guy, you're the rat. The good news is for you can do a lot of different things. You can molly at the entrance early so that they don't push. Maybe you want to nade and take early control. Maybe you just want to sit back and not do anything and just make sure that they don't take it. All of these are good options. You kind of get to do whatever you want to be. Be the type of B-lurk that you want to be. God, that sounds so corny, but we're going to leave that one in. Just keep in mind that if a team starts putting a CT opera on B and you start dying, you're the problem. So don't be that version of yourself. Now, if you've ever watched my stream before, twitch.tv/flom, good news is you've seen me take mid a billion times, and I can show you how to do this for free. The way you take mid by yourself is really easy. You just come here in this corner, aim in the middle of this block, left, right click, jump throw. Now you just smoked off house for yourself. Good job. Now, if you're in a rush or you can't do the cool lineup, just come here, aim top left of that. That's going to molly the right side. Now, if they didn't smoke mid, there's an op. Throw a little dinky flash here. All good. He's blind now. Now go run at him because he's blind and there's a molly behind him. Let's go through this. If that's smoked in mid, throw this smoke. Throw this. Nade the smoke. Fight with your teammate. Now, keep in mind something for all of you people that like to, maybe do what I'm doing. They can sit here. So another option is you can nade through that smoke at him, and you can maybe go through with a flash or whatever. Don't be afraid to use the nade landing on someone to take space. If this is smoked and this is molly and he can only sit here, I can, even with the smoke here, that I can just nade here, and he is now going to be nade rung and he can't hear me run him down and go fight him. And if you just get here and set up in mid, whatever it might be, you've done an incredible job for your team and you've established a good amount of map control. This little sequence of events and getting in this area is really powerful for your team. You can hear rotations everywhere on the map. If you hear this guy in temple rotating, you hear it. You hear the guy A coming back from camera, you hear it. You have so much information that you can relay to your teammates by just getting to the double doors, and it's really underutilized and undervalued from that aspect alone. So create that pressure on the map. You can do it relatively safely by yourself. If you think they're investing a lot and throwing it back at you and you're by yourself, take the L. There's a lot of other places you can go on this map. It's okay. You can go towards E-box, A main, or B main, and they're all going to be viable based on whatever your team's doing. Now, let's talk E-box. Something that's really useful to know is just this smoke right here. Top right of this, that's E-box. Now, there's a billion other E-box smokes, and there's honestly an entire meta of smokes and util for E-box. And if you're going to be this guy, good for you, because you're probably going to make the most amount of impact in the server if you become really good at this role. This is where you can nerd out, get really good at different takes, and you can create so much map control. So you throw that smoke or have a teammate throw that smoke for you. You get here, and maybe when the smoke starts to fade, you just bounce the molly in here. Forces the guy either to come out and fight you, which is a really bad idea, or it gives you space to come in here and take E-box control. Just be careful of those pesky operas that might be sitting right here when you come in. So maybe give it a jiggle or just be aware of how you move. In general, once you get here, similar to mid, you've kind of done your job. And this is why T-Side Anubis feels really nice to play, is you're really not using a lot of util. And if you use it wisely, you're getting a lot of map control. And just think about where you are on the map. If you're getting here and your teammate's getting mid, these B players have nowhere to sit on the map. They can't sit pizza. They can only sit plat or behind sight. And they're completely stuck. Also, if they're getting any sort of help, now your teammate can hear them rotating through. You just get so much information. You know exactly where the CTs are, what they're doing, and they don't really have many options to deal with you. Now, the most common thing, if you're kind of, we'll just say the op. I mean, this is pretty much what the op does. You know, if you're the opper, a couple different things you could do. You can, oops. Blooper. A couple different things you could do. You can nade here or like molly it, give yourself some space, jump down and like look for a pick here and creep it into B. Another option you have is you could come here to mid. If you have a decent spawn, you will beat this guy if he goes here for that op peek from him. You're just doing a lot of counter sniping. You're just trying to prevent their opper from finding your teammates early in the round. You're Overwatch, you know, you're just constantly keeping an eye on your homies. The other option is you can come here to steps and you can post on E-box. If your teammate's smoking it, you can take a wider angle in case they nade it, or you can help your teammate A main, whether it's opping it or throwing a flash in. But this is kind of your home on T-steps. This is where you want to be. If you're playing some Giga Sweats like maybe myself and they know some nades through the window, don't be afraid to come with your rifle teammate and just path through rugs and just come out this way and then post on E-box. Just think of yourself as the supportive element that's shutting down any sort of early peaks from the CTs. That if you do that, the map's going to once again feel even smaller for these guys. Now, last but not least, you know, the A main guy. A main guy, you have some options. You know, you can go rugs, you can go down T steps, but really you just want to come down here and you want to have maybe a teammate flash for you so you can cross. And if you cross, some things you can do to create some pressure is just like you can just bounce the smoke like here off that wall, and then you can bounce the molly closer. And boom, just like that, you've now taken A main control. Let's just say in a perfect world, everybody's watched my T-Side Anubis video and they know exactly what they're doing. You have A main control, you have close mid control, you have E-box control, and you have a teammate holding outside of B. The world is your oyster. That's where you want to just like try to focus. You know, if you took A main that round, maybe the mid player gets ready to go camera. If you're E-box player got into E-box and you have some players outside B main, maybe you sit mid and look for a kill, or maybe you just drop down to E-box. Just consolidate the numbers and move together as a unit rather than trying to take all of it all at once, because it can fall apart kind of quickly. So let's talk about different ways you can end the round. So for me, I always like to go through mid, so I'm always kind of thinking about how to end these rounds through mid. If I can get in this position and make sure I'm not getting peeked from camera, I just go here. I just aim for above this line. Some people try to throw it off the window, but then they hit the glass. I just aim above that window, like right here quickly. So that way I'm smoking off temple, and then I'm coming up here and trying to challenge across here. Don't feel rushed. You know, you're constantly going to be kind of, once you get here, you're going to be keeping an eye on that mini map, figure out where that A player is, and then squeeze your way into here. If I'm in mid and they go B, kind of like what I talked about previously, I usually like to reinforce the E-box player, because the more people in E-box is never really a bad thing. You have a lot of numbers to trade with if anybody comes out wide on the site. And once you start making that initial push in, it's always good to have extra bodies trying to clear out and trade the guys back plat. Now, some simple things if you're the B lurk real quick that you can do to help your teammates is, one, if you want to do a set smoke, you just get in this corner and just aim in the middle of this block, and this will smoke off temple. Now, if you're close B main and nobody's been peeking you, don't be afraid to just throw some util on the run. You don't need to be super specific. You can throw that. You know, you can smoke off left side. You now know that you're safe, and maybe you're really cool and you can molly back plat for your teammates coming out of E-box. You know, try to keep track of where those CTs couldn't be. You don't need to worry about a guy pizza if you have a guy in E-box. You know, simple things like that, just keeping track of it helps a lot, because like it's like, oh yeah, I'm good then. I can just sit here and throw this, you know? You don't have to, and then once you smoke that, oh well, they're still not close left and I just smoked off temple, so I can just drop a molly right here now for my teammates to isolate the guys on plat. Just little nuance like decisions like that and recognition in the middle of a round will go a long way in helping you, especially on the B main lurk, but just in CS in general. Say your teammates just rushed A and you just want to be really helpful. Something that's easy to do is, I'm not even gonna, like, you don't have to line this up like crazy. If you look, this is the doorway for camera. I usually aim like right in here for the height. And then you see this right here, just so like I recognize camera. You can bounce it a molly off here to hit headshot. So these aren't crazy lineups. We're just using our eyeballs, you know? And just throwing something like this while your teammates rush A will be so powerful, because it's going to force the rotate to come through the smoke. Also, it prevents any lines where an opper could hold passively from camera. This is maybe one of the worst fights the CT can take, especially by himself. You've done a lot if you just throw simple things like that for your teammates if you're straggling behind. If you want to get really nerdy, you can just get in this corner where these blocks meet, W jump throw, and this will smoke off heaven. And then what you can do is you can just throw flashes right here. And these flashes are cool because they don't blind your teammates when you run in. So similar to some last videos, if your team's just really struggling to do anything on the map, which is really just a doomsday scenario, especially on Anubis T side, something you can do is just have them rush A. And if you want to have them rush A, just come here, get next to this wall, use the height of the basket, and just W jump throw this. And then like I just talked about, you can then eyeball these nades. So you come here, you see the doorway for camera, you just throw a smoke in there, molly headshot. Ideally then you're helping your teammates out, because if anybody played close, they're blind. Once they're coming out, they're scaling. Your molly doesn't suck. We won't talk about that, but your molly will hit headshot because you're not as bad as me, and they take the sight and scale. Just having like some basic nades like that can sometimes crutch you a nice little round win. Hopefully can get your teammates maybe a little bit more confident, not playing like a bunch of weenies in your game. I know it sometimes can be like pulling teeth, but if you just say, hey guys, rush A, I can throw all the nades, sometimes, you know, you can sometimes convince them that way. So as always, guys, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like on the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell. And since we're kind of wrapping up this series and we've covered almost every single map in this format, at least, let us know in the comments below what kind of series you'd like to see us cover next. If there's certain elements in the game that you're struggling with that you think would be a good video series, we'd love to hear your feedback, and just let us know below.